What if the Nazis won World War II? What if the Cold War turned into a nuclear apocalypse? What if history took a completely different path, one where empires never fell and wars never ended? History is filled with moments where the world stood at a crossroads. In reality, we know how things turned out. But in video games, we can explore the terrifying, thrilling, and sometimes bizarre possibilities of alternate history. Today, we're diving into 9 incredible games that dare to ask, what if, rewriting history in ways you wouldn't believe. Let's get started. What if the legends of demons, angels, and forbidden magic weren't just myths? What if the medieval world was shaped not by kings and empires, but by an eternal war between the forces of heaven and hell? In Diablo II, history takes a dark and supernatural turn, plunging players into a nightmarish medieval fantasy where evil lurks around every corner. Set in a world reminiscent of the Dark Ages, Diablo II imagines a medieval world where the church isn't just a religious force, but a desperate last line of defense against demonic invasion. You play as a hero chasing after the Dark Wanderer, a man possessed by the prime evil known as Diablo, whose journey leaves a path of destruction across the land. Unlike most medieval fantasy games that focus on knights and kingdoms, Diablo II leans into the grim, gothic horror of medieval folklore. The game's world is steeped in dark magic, ancient prophecies, and nightmarish creatures, blending historical settings with Lovecraftian horror. Each act of the game takes players through different medieval-inspired locations, from plague-ridden villages to desert ruins and frozen fortresses. And while you grow stronger, so do the demonic forces seeking to corrupt the world. Every battle is a struggle for survival in a history that was never meant to be. If you love medieval history, but want to experience it through the lens of dark fantasy and horror, Diablo II is a must-play. It's a journey through a twisted version of the past, one where demons walk among men, and only the strongest can survive the apocalypse. What if history wasn't shaped by kings and generals, but by immortal necromancers, ancient dwarven lords, and gods of war? What if medieval battles weren't fought with swords and cavalry alone, but also with fireballs and monstrous beasts? Welcome to Total War Warhammer, a game where history takes a turn into pure fantasy. Unlike the traditional Total War games that recreate real-world conflicts, this entry drops players into an alternate reality where humans, elves, and terrifying creatures wage war for domination over a war-torn world. At its core, Total War Warhammer is a grand strategy game where you lead one of several factions, each with unique units, playstyles, and abilities. But unlike historical strategy games, here you're commanding fire-breathing dragons, spell-casting wizards, and legendary warlords. The addition of magic, flying units, and monstrous creatures completely changes the battlefield dynamics, making every battle feel larger than life. The world building is also top-notch. This isn't just a fantasy setting. It's an alternate history with deep lore, political conflicts, and ancient grudges between its many factions. Whether you're leading the disciplined empire, the savage greenskins, or the vampiric undead, each campaign offers a different perspective on this war-torn world. If you love both history and fantasy, Total War Warhammer is the ultimate alternate reality experience. It's a game where strategy meets mythology, and where history is rewritten, not by kings, but by gods and monsters. What if monarchs ruled with supernatural powers? What if Industrial Revolution-era technology merged with dark magic to shape the fate of empires? Set in an alternate world inspired by Victorian-era monarchy and industrial progress, Dishonored 2 thrusts players into a world of treachery, corruption, and supernatural assassins. You play as either Empress Emily Kaldwin or the legendary royal bodyguard Corvo Attano, fighting to reclaim the throne after a political coup. Unlike traditional alternate history games, Dishonored 2 doesn't rewrite real-world events. It crafts an entirely unique history where aristocrats, secret societies, and arcane powers shape the course of civilization. The game offers complete freedom in how you play, stealth, brute force, or a mix of both. creating a deeply personal and immersive experience. The level design is a masterpiece, with intricate missions like the Clockwork Mansion and a crack in the slab, where time manipulation and reality-shifting mechanics add a whole new layer to the gameplay. Every choice you make changes the world, leading to different endings and consequences. If you love a world where history takes a supernatural turn, Dishonored 2 is a must-play. It's a game where political intrigue, steampunk aesthetics, and mystical powers collide, giving you the freedom to shape your own version of history. What if history wasn't shaped by kings and emperors, but by secret societies waging a silent war from the shadows? What if the Renaissance, the golden age of art and knowledge, was also the battleground for an ancient conflict that determined the future of the world? In Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, you step into the boots of Ezio Auditore, a legendary assassin fighting against the powerful Templar Order. The year is 1500, and Rome is under the iron grip of the corrupt Borgia family. As Ezio, your mission is to rebuild the Assassin Brotherhood and liberate the Eternal City from tyranny. While Brotherhood is a direct sequel to Assassin's Creed 2, it takes everything to the next level. The game expands Rome into a living, breathing city where you recruit, train, and command your own network of assassins. With new combat mechanics, a refined parkour system, and the introduction of multiplayer, this entry deepens the series' unique take on history. But what makes Brotherhood a fascinating alternate history game is its central premise, that history has been manipulated for centuries. The struggle between the Assassins and the Templars isn't just a war in the shadows. It's a battle that has shaped the course of human civilization. The game intertwines real historical figures like Leonardo da Vinci, Cesare Borgia, and Machiavelli into its gripping narrative, making you question how much of history was truly written by those in power. If you love history but enjoy a touch of conspiracy and secret warfare, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is a must-play. It's not just about assassinations, it's about uncovering the hidden forces that might have shaped our world. What if the Cold War never stayed cold? What if, instead of a decades-long standoff, the Soviet Union launched a full-scale invasion of the United States? In Command & Conquer: Red Alert 2, that's exactly what happens. Set in an alternate timeline where Hitler never rose to power, the Soviet Union became the world's dominant threat. After years of uneasy peace, the war finally erupts into chaos, turning iconic American landmarks into battlefields. Players take command of either the Allies or the Soviets, each fighting to reshape history in their favor. What sets Red Alert 2 apart is its mix of real-world military tactics and over-the-top sci-fi warfare. Tesla coils fry enemy soldiers, psychic commandos control mines, and weather control devices summon devastating storms. While the setting is based on Cold War tensions, the game cranks the absurdity up to 11, making for a wildly entertaining experience. Adding to the fun is Red Alert 2's legendary campaign and FMV cutscenes. The cheesy yet captivating story plays out like a B-movie thriller, packed with espionage, betrayal, and high-stakes global warfare. Whether you're leading an American counterattack or marching Soviet forces into New York, every mission feels like a piece of alternate history cinema. If you love alternate history with a mix of military strategy and pure chaos, Red Alert 2 is a must-play. It's not just a Cold War gone hot, it's a Cold War gone completely off the rails, and that's what makes it so unforgettable. What if the Cold War never ended in a peaceful resolution? What if, instead of diplomacy, nuclear bombs reshaped the world forever? In Fallout New Vegas, you step into an alternate history where the US and China waged a devastating nuclear war, leaving civilization in ruins. But in the chaos, new factions rise to carve out their own vision of the future. Set in the post-apocalyptic Mojave Wasteland, New Vegas offers a unique look at an America that never recovered from the war. Unlike most post-apocalyptic stories, this isn't just about survival, it's about power. The remnants of the old world clash with new factions like Caesar's Legion, the New California Republic, and the enigmatic Mr. House, all fighting to control the last bastion of civilization. What makes Fallout New Vegas stand out is its emphasis on player choice. Your decisions shape not just the story, but the entire region. Will you restore order, plunge the world further into chaos, or carve out your own empire? Every major faction has its own ideology, and your alliances or betrayals determine the fate of the Mojave. Unlike many alternate history games that offer a single path, New Vegas thrives on its branching narratives. Whether you side with the NCR, the Legion, or take control for yourself, the world reacts accordingly, creating one of the most replayable experiences in gaming. If you love the idea of shaping history through your own choices, Fallout New Vegas is one of the greatest alternate history games ever made. It's not just about surviving the apocalypse, it's about deciding what comes next. What if America had built a city in the sky? A utopia where nationalism, religious zeal, and technological advancements created an isolated paradise, one that slowly turned into a nightmare? Welcome to BioShock Infinite, a game set in 1912 in an alternate version of the United States, where Columbia, a flying city, has seceded from the Union and become a theocratic empire. You play as Booker DeWitt, a man with a simple mission: find and rescue a girl named Elizabeth. But as you uncover the city's dark secrets, you realize that history is far more complicated than it seems. Unlike traditional alternate history games, BioShock Infinite doesn't just explore a single what-if scenario, it plays with the very fabric of reality. The game dives into themes of American exceptionalism, racism, religious extremism, and parallel universes, all wrapped in a stunningly immersive world. Elizabeth is not just your companion, she's the key to everything. Her ability to manipulate tears in reality changes the world around you, introducing one of gaming's most unique alternate history mechanics. The story keeps you questioning what is real and what is just another possibility in an infinite number of timelines. If you're fascinated by history, politics, and mind-bending alternate realities, BioShock Infinite is a journey you can't miss. It's not just a game, it's an exploration of how history can change with a single choice. Imagine waking up in a world where the Nazis won World War II. A world where their technological dominance crushed all resistance, and the 1960s aren't a time of peace and progress, but a nightmarish dystopia. This is the world of Wolfenstein: The New Order, a brutal reimagining of history where the Third Reich controls the planet with an iron fist. You play as BJ Blazkowicz, a hardened soldier who wakes up in this terrifying reality, joining the underground resistance to dismantle the Nazi war machine, one bullet at a time. Unlike traditional FPS games, The New Order blends intense gunplay with a surprisingly deep and emotional story. It's not just about shooting Nazis, it's about fighting for hope in a world that's lost it. The game balances fast-paced action with moments of character-driven storytelling, making you care about the people in this dystopian nightmare. The alternate history setting is meticulously crafted, showcasing what a world under Nazi rule might look like. From robotic war dogs to lunar bases, the game isn't afraid to explore both the terrifying and the absurd possibilities of this timeline. If you love games that reimagine history in bold, terrifying ways, Wolfenstein: The New Order is a must-play. It's more than just an alternate history shooter, it's a glimpse into a chilling reality where all thankful never came to pass. What if you had the power to rewrite history, to guide humanity from the dawn of civilization to the space age, shaping the fate of nations along the way? In Civilization 4, you don't just play through history, you create it. Unlike most alternate history games, Civilization 4 doesn't focus on a single moment in time. Instead, it gives players control over an entire civilization, letting them reshape history based on their choices. Will Rome become a scientific powerhouse? Will Japan conquer the world? Or will a small, unknown nation rise to dominate history? Every decision you make alters history: who to ally with, what technologies to develop, and how to govern your people. The game introduces the civic system, allowing players to customize their government's policies, influencing everything from war strategies to cultural development. It's not just about military conquest. Diplomacy, economy, and culture all play vital roles in shaping the course of history. Want to dominate through military strength? Lead your people into a golden age of art and science? Or perhaps become a global superpower through diplomacy? Every game of Civilization IV tells a different story, offering a new take on history with each playthrough. If you've ever wanted to rewrite history, whether through war, diplomacy, or innovation, Civilization IV is the ultimate sandbox. It's not just a game, it's a history lesson, a strategy challenge, and a test of leadership, all rolled into one. From dystopian nightmares to rewriting world history, these games prove that alternate history is one of the most fascinating themes in gaming. Whether it's imagining a world where the Cold War turned nuclear, where secret societies shaped empires, or where history itself is rewritten with every decision, these games let us explore the what-ifs that could have changed everything. Which game is your favorite? Or did I miss a great one? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into alternate history in gaming, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more videos just like this. Your support helps keep these explorations going.